Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Rosa Maria. Today I have a great, easy, simple sewing project. And this sewing project tutorial, we're going to learn how to make this cute lunch bag. I want you all to see is box corner in the bottom. This is absolutely really cute bag. And also it comes, and also it has Velcro on it. I just put some clothing in there to kind of fill it in, or else it'll look so empty inside. But it has some Velcro, and of course it has 3 dividing pockets inside. So this is a really great project that you can do on the weekend, and hopefully you can see these are the pocket inside. So there's three pockets that are divided, and you can put other things in there. And you know, get all your tools and your materials, and let's get started on this sewing project. Tools and materials you're going to be needing for this project. You'll be needing, of course, interface, lining of your choice, and also fabric of your choice, webbing, Velcro, a measuring tape, some sewing pins, and also some fabric clips, coordinating thread of your choice. You can either use a pair of scissors or a rotary cutter to cut out your materials, a friction pen, and a bone folder. The next step you need to do is you need to cut out your fabric piece, just one piece. And the size you're going to be cutting out this fabric piece will be 67 centimeters by 37 centimeters. And if you're using inches, you're going to be using 28 3/8 inches by 14 5/8 inches. So once you cut out your fabric, the size as I indicated, you're also going to be doing the same thing for your interface. It'll be exactly the same size as I mentioned that you cut your fabric. You're going to do the same thing for your interface. Now we're going to move on to the next step. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take our printed side and we're going to face it down. And then I'm going to take my interface. My interface here has this side where it's a little bit bumpy and this side where it's smooth. So I'm going to do is take the bumpy side here and face it down and align it to make sure it's fully aligned with the fabric. Once it's fully aligned with the fabric, then I'm going to start to take my iron and then I'm going to start to press it, okay? And give it a good thorough press. So once you finish ironing the interface onto the fabric, check to make sure that the interface is completely ironed onto the fabric. And you can check. So if you check on the corners and you see it doesn't come off, that means it's iron, it's adhesive to the fabric. So we're going to move on to the next step. The next step we need to do is take our measuring tape and our friction pen. Here in the corner here, we are going to measure 10 centimeters. So I'm gonna move my measuring tape a little bit here. So 10 centimeter will be my marking over here. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to this corner here, this side. And then I'm gonna mark 10 centimeters. And if you're using inches, that's gonna be 4 7/8 inches. 4 7/8 inches. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side using my measuring tape, making sure I have my 10 centimeters over here. And that's going to be, of course, 4 7/8 inches. And this is my last corner that I'm going to be marking. Okay. So now that I have all these 4 corners marked 10 centimeters, you need to cut out your webbing. And the size you're going to be cutting out your webbing pieces, and they're going to be 2 pieces, of course, is going to be 35 centimeters. And if you're using inches, is 13 3/4 inches. So once you have made all those markings as I indicated, you cut out 2 of your webbing straps to the measurements I indicated. I'm going to take my fabric clips and I'm going to align my webbing alongside the line here. Not the opposite direction, but here inside here. And then I'm going to take my fabric clip to secure it. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Move the webbing, align it right here against the marking, and add another fabric clip here to hold it. And then now I'm going to work on this side. And I'm going to do the same thing. Align the webbing alongside the line. And the last one here, making sure that this is aligned and even. Align it right here. So once this is done, then we're going to take it to the sewing machine, and then we are going to top stitch across here several times for 1, 2, 3, 4 of these little straps. So let's head on to the sewing machine. Okay, now I'm going to stitch across. I'm going to first back stitch, and then I'm going to stitch once and go back. This is my second, and this is going to be my third, and this is going to be my final. And this is what it looks like. So when we stitch it a couple of times across, is to secure the strap onto the fabric. So let me sew the other side now. Now I'm on this side of the strap, and I'm going to do the same thing, back stitch. Okay. So once you finish attaching the straps onto the fabric, and you're going to do the same thing to the other side, and then we're going to be moving on to the next step. As you can see, I finished attaching the strap onto the fabric. Now that that's done, I'm going to fold the fabric in half. I want to make sure that the corners are all even and aligned, and then I'm going to take a fabric clip just to secure the fabric there. And then I'm going to turn this around and do the same thing and make sure that this is secure. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the template that I created, and we're going to use it here for the bottom here to cut the corners. So this template is 8 centimeters by 7 centimeters, and inches will be 3 1/8 inch by 2 3/4 inches. So I'm going to use this here, and I'm going to take my friction pen. I want to make sure everything is aligned, and I'm going to mark the template, everything out. This is a corner I marked, and then I'm going to do the same thing to the second corner here at the bottom. Align it, mark it, use a template as my guide. And once I've done that for the bottom, then we are going to work on the top. So the template for the top is going to be a different size, of course. So the size we're going to be using here is, of course, 7 centimeters by 5 centimeters. Inches would be 2 3/4 by 2 inches. And then now again, I'm going to place this here, align it, line it, outlined my corner. Do the same thing, make sure everything is aligned, corner to corner, and work on here on the top, outline it here again. So once I finish doing that, then I'm going to take, of course, my pair of scissors, And I'm going to first cut out the bottom. Bottom ones are cut. Now I'm going to work on cutting the top. All corners are completely done. Now we're going to take it to the sewing machine and we are going to stitch here, across here, and here. Only in these two areas we're going to sew. We're at the sewing machine, so the seam allowance is going to be 1/2 inch, and centimeters is 1.27 centimeters. Back stitch. Now I'm going to stitch the other side. As you can see, we finished stitching the sides, both sides here of the fabric. Now we are going to create the box corner, align everything, making sure everything is aligned and even, and open up these seams here. And then I'm going to take my fabric clip to secure the fabric. So once you have created the corners here, we're going to take it to the sewing machine, and then we are going to sew across here, and also on this corner we're going to sew across here. So let's go to the sewing machine. We're at the sewing machine, and of course the seam allowance is 1.27 centimeters, and that is 1/2 inch. And let's start to sew. Back stitch. Now I'm going to start to sew the other side of the box corner. As you can see, we finished stitching both corners of the bag, and I'm going to turn it inside out. This is what the bag looks like. So now we're going to move on to our next step. So the next step, you're going to cut out your lining, and the size you're going to be cutting out your lining will be, of course, 67 centimeters by 37 centimeters. And if you're using inches, it's going to be 28 3/8 inches by 14 5/8 inches. You just need to cut out one piece for the lining. Now I'm going to move this to the side. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to cut another piece, and this piece is the lining pocket. And the size you're going to be cutting is, of course, 37 centimeters by 26 centimeters. Inches will be 14 5/8 inches by 10 1/4 inch. You just need one piece. Next, you're going to fold the fabric in half, and then you're going to take it to the sewing machine, and then I'm going to stitch, top stitch right here across. So let's go to the sewing machine. Okay, now we're going to start to top stitch, back stitch, As you can see, we finished top stitching. Now we're going to turn the fabric inside out. Okay. Once you have turned the fabric inside out, give it a good press with your iron, and then you're going to take it to the sewing machine, and then we are going to top stitch here again. So let's go to the sewing machine. Now we're back at the sewing machine and we're going to top stitch. We finished top stitching the inner pocket. Now I'm going to move and place this inner pocket aside. And now I'm gonna just slide the lining fabric here. And then I'm gonna take my measuring tape and also my friction pen. And I'm going to just measure 12 centimeters from here to here. And then give it a nice little mark. Let me make sure everything is even over here. So I'm going to line that 12 centimeters. And then I'm going to do the same thing to this side, 12 centimeters. And if you're using inches, of course, is 4 3/4 inches, 4 3/4 inches. So once we mark those lines on both sides, I'm going to take this ruler that I have here, and I'm going to, of course, use the grid to assist me to make sure that I am making a line across properly. Once I have done making that line, I'm going to take, of course, my inner pocket and align it against the line that I created, and then take some sewing pins to secure the inner pocket to the lining. Okay. So once that is done, again, I'm going to take my measuring tape and I'm going to measure 12 centimeters here, and then move here along and then make another line here that is 12 centimeters. Again, if you're using inches, that's going to be 4 3/4 inches. So we're going to be creating the dividers for the pocket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, of course, my ruler, and I'm going to make a nice straight line as possible, and then create another one here too. Okay, now that we created the dividers for 3 pockets, it might not have to be perfect, that's okay. But as long as you created 3 little pockets here over here with the lines, then we're going to take it to the sewing machine. In our sewing machine, we're going to start to sew from here, down here, across, then go back up. And once you're finished, then you're going to stitch from here all the way down, and then again start stitching all the way here, and starting here for the top all the way to the bottom. So let's go to the sewing machine. Okay, I'm going to start to sew. I'm here at the bottom. I am going to lift the foot presser and I'm going to tilt the fabric and then start to stitch down across. Okay, I'm coming over here to another corner. Now I'm going to stop, lift the foot presser, and then to continue to sew. Now I'm going to start to sew where we make the line with a friction pen here. And then you're gonna do the same thing on this side too. So now we're gonna fold the fabric in half. Once you fold the fabric in half, we are gonna cut out the corners here in the bottom. And again, we're gonna be using the template. This is 8 centimeters by 7 centimeters, and inches will be 3 1/8 by 2 3/4. And this is gonna be just for the bottom. I'm gonna take my friction pen and outline the marking of this template on both corners, over here on this side too. Okay, so once I'm finished doing that, I'm going to take the other template for the top here, and of course this is 7 centimeters by 5 centimeters. Inches will be 2 3/4 by 2 inches, and this is going to be the top. Remember, the top is where the opening is. And again, I'm going to outline. Okay, once that is done, I'm going to take my pair of scissors and I'm going to cut out these 4 corners. So once you finish, like I said, finish cutting all 4 of the corners, you're gonna take your sewing pin, and I'm just gonna make sure that I secure this side here and this side here for moving. So we're gonna take it to the sewing machine, and then we're gonna stitch here, and then we're gonna stitch here across. We're here at the sewing machine, and we're gonna start to sew. Now I'm going to sew the other side. We finished sewing both of these sides. Now the next step is we are going to create the box corner over here. So I'm going to take this corner, okay, and I'm going to try to open up the seam as much as I can. And I'm going to take my sewing pin to secure it. Let me just do it this way better. Okay, once you do that side, then of course you're going to work on this side also. And take your sewing pins. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take it to the sewing machine and stitch across this side. And also we're going to do the same thing to the other side here. Stitch across. So let's go to the sewing machine. Okay, we're here at the sewing machine. I'm going to remove my sewing pin and I'm going to start to sew. Now I'm going to do the other side. We finished stitching the box corners for both sides, and also I made a note that we were supposed to leave about 10 centimeters and 4 inches opening to turn the fabric inside out. So I'm removing the sewing pins here. That's something I forgot to mention in the beginning. We're going to take our fabric, and then what we're going to do is we're going to insert the fabric inside the lining. Just put it in through here. And then we are going to take our not our sewing pins, but our fabric clips. And then you can align, make sure that the strap is inside and align. Keep aligning all this here. So as you can see, I attached the fabric clips. This is what you're gonna do. And then we're gonna take it to the sewing machine and stitch here, all the way here, 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 and here. So we're gonna close this top here. Okay, we're at the sewing machine. I'm going to start to sew. As you can see, we finished stitching all around. Now, the opening here that I have, I'm going to turn the fabric inside out. So once you turn the fabric inside out, I forgot to also mention that we need to, I forgot to mention that you need to take this to the sewing machine and you need to stitch right here across, okay? So as you can see, I finished stitching the opening, so that's done. Now I can put the lining inside. So now I'm going to start to kind of make sure that everything it's really. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take your fabric clips and just make sure that everything is nicely folded or together. Make sure it's even. And you're going to do this all around. So once you finish putting your fabric clips around, now we're going to go and take it to the sewing machine, and of course we are going to stitch all around, coming down to secure the fabric and the lining together. So okay, I'm going to start to sew. Back stitch. As you can see, we finished stitching all around. So now that we have that done, you need to cut out your Velcro pieces. So there's one with a smooth side, and then you have one with a rough side. So you need to cut out one piece of the smooth side, of course, 19 centimeters, and that's 7.5 inch. And with a rough side, also 19 centimeters, and that's 7.5 inches. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place this here with a lining. Make sure that the rough spot is sticking out. Let me just move this way. And then I'm gonna just take one of my sewing pins and then use it to secure it on both sides, here and here. And then I'm going to do the same thing to this side. Make sure that the soft side is facing up and secure it with your sewing pin. And I'm going to do the same thing here on this side, securing it. And then you're going to take it to the sewing machine, and then we're going to stitch around to secure the Velcro to the lining, and the same thing on this side. So let's go to the sewing machine. Okay, I'm here in the sewing machine, and I'm going to start to sew the Velcro onto the lining. As you can see, I finished stitching both of the Velcro, and then what you're going to do is you're going to just make sure they're aligned, and now they're together. And then what you can do is you can tuck this in. You can tuck this in. Let me show you. You can tuck this in, and once you tuck it in, you can take your iron and give it a good press so it'll create these creases. And we are finished making this cute lunch bag. It's really cute. And of course, you see the pockets inside here. Hopefully you can see it. They're right inside. There we go. See the pockets? And then we can close it. And we're done. We could tuck the ends in. And we have completed making our lunch bag. I hope everyone enjoyed this tutorial, and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and your families. And also, I just want to let everybody know on the description box below, I listed all the materials and all the tools that you'll be needing for this project, and also a link where you can purchase the materials and tools you need for this project. So if you're not, I also wanted to mention, if you're not a subscriber, please click on the subscribe button. And also you could click on the bell. So when you click on the bell, YouTube will notify you every time I upload a new video. So until next time, see ya.